From San Francisco, California, this is the Rock and Roll Geek Show. This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name is Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. As you can tell by the noise in the background, again, we're still at the Rock and Pod Expo. One of the guys from Nelson is on stage. There's a songwriters conference, which I don't care. Oh, he did mention Peter Wolf. But anyway, I am here with. Are you a friend of the show?
I'm a friend of the show. Yeah.
What's your name?
I'm David. I used to be the Rock and Roll Burro. So.
David was one of the guys who contributed to the GoFundMe. One of the perks of the GoFundMe were a certain amount of money you get taken out to dinner by me. I think there was one or two, but only one person claimed it. So, and there were, I think, three. You can co-host the show with Michael Butler, and David Brewington was one of those people. Thank you for donating in my name. I really appreciate it. That way I didn't look like a complete idiot for being here.
Oh no! When I saw that perk, I couldn't even believe it was actually a perk. Well, I couldn't even believe you were going to be here. First off, because I've been a fan for a long time of your show, like 2007 at least, and. I was thinking about it on the way over, but, you got me on Mevio for a while, so I would host my show on Mevio. And the funny part, I heard you mention this on a show once, but I got like 1 million streams.
Yeah, right. And you said, wow, I'm huge.
Well, I thought I knew. I kind of knew what the story was, but I would definitely joke about it with people like, oh, yeah, my podcast.
I got 1 million downloads.
1 million downloads.
Holy shit. If everybody just contributed $1, I'd be rich.
Yeah, there you go. So I did that for a while, and I've been so I'll start with, I did actually have a dream one time that I actually met you in Jasper in California and recorded with you.
Because you used to listen to the Good Clean Fun show.
Oh, I was a hardcore fanatic. Jasper was like the first podcast I listened to.
Oh, really? You listened to Playing Non-Rock? Okay.
Yeah, and then I found yours, and
Hear that, Jasper? He's probably not listening.
He probably not, but I've told him that before, and because of Jasper and seeing how he did it, I started doing mine just like that. So when I saw the perk to do this, I was.
Take more, please. Can't get rid of these buttons to save my life.
I'll take a few for sure. But yeah, so it's an honor to be here with you, man. It's insane, really. So.
Well, it's an honor to have you on here with me. So you don't do the From the Burrow podcast anymore?
No, I don't. I stopped doing that, and I did one with my brother-in-law for a couple of years, and now I'm doing a new one with my brother and our friend. It's called Blame Your Brother, and it's fun. We're having a good time with it. You
guys shoot the shit, or is it what's the?
Yeah, it's us talking about news, pop culture, ourselves, making fun of each other.
Do you do funny bits and stuff?
It's not a zoo crew.
It's not.
No,
okay,
it's far from. It's more. It's closer to Rock and Roll Geek as far as the tone. But yeah, and it's my brother, so we're pretty close. So we get into some big fights on and off the microphone, and we've almost stormed off after recording. So it's a good time.
It's better to save the arguments for when the microphone or when you're recording.
For sure.
It's for better podcasting. How'd you find out about the Rock and Pod Expo?
Well, actually, I'm friends with Chris Sinzak and Aaron Camaro. I met.
Decibel Geek guys must be huge.
They're huge here in Nashville. I met them
Really?
through my brother-in-law. He actually was in the local music scene, and he knew Chris, and we just kind of ran into each other. So, that's how it happens.
So you heard on their show they were talking about putting on a podcast expo.
Yeah.
On paper, a podcast expo, well, for one thing, a podcast expo is one thing, but a podcast expo only dedicated to rock music. First, a podcast expo is one thing.
Yeah.
But a podcast expo dedicated to music podcasts, another thing. But a podcast expo dedicated to only rock music podcast is pretty, you got to be pretty
ambitious.
Yeah, to make that a success, I would think.
If you were not here, I've been reading a book for the last hour over in the corner. So
I'm sorry for making you wait.
No, you're fine. But I keep saying
I almost walked off this thing.
Yeah, I heard.
I will tell that story another time.
There you go. Stay tuned for that, guys.
You might have already heard that story by the time this airs,
but I find that I've been around other podcast conventions or conventions where podcasts, and I never get along with these guys because I think that most of them take themselves way too seriously.
They think that they're stars.
Yes.
I'm not saying that about any other podcast in this room, but generally podcasters think they're stars.
They do, and they want to talk about downloads, and I don't care, like, are you having a good time doing it? If not, why are you even doing it,
I'm here. We're gonna sit in the Rockin' Pod Expo, and our fans are gonna be here, and we're gonna have all these buttons, these 3-inch buttons. You know what? I think I'll even charge them for these buttons. There's gonna be so many fans here. I'm gonna be signing autographs.
Yeah, charge for them. $5 an autograph. Sign up.
And then what it turns out is everybody's sitting around wondering, hoping they're going to be recognized by a bunch of people who showed up because there's a bunch of people selling rare vinyl.
And Gunnar Nelson's here.
And the guy from the Nelsons brothers is here.
Yeah.
And the Heavy Metal Parking Lot guys are here. The point is, if you have a podcast and your name's not Mark Maron or Eddie Trunk,
right.
Have fun doing your podcast and don't expect to be a star.
That's good advice. Speaking, I heard you. So I left a voicemail for you. You talked about the what was it? The punk
punk radio cast.
Punk radio. Now,
somebody emailed me and clarified that I was wrong about what I said.
Well, I was part of that network. I was one of the 4 founding members of the podcast, Punk, whatever it was called. And I do remember. I specifically remember the episode where you and Jasper or you came on. And they kicked you off, like the guy that ran it, Jason. I don't know.
Yeah, we did one episode.
Yeah.
Streamed it. We decided to make Good Clean Fun live on the Punk Radio Cast and had the chat room going.
Yeah.
And the chat room was full of punk rock people.
Yeah.
And what happened then?
After that show, we had a meeting.
On that show, we played Katy Perry.
I loved
and proceeded to get trashed by all the punk rockers on the chat room.
And Jason, the guy that ran it afterwards, goes, "We just can't have this on this network, so I'm going to ask him to leave."
Good.
I was like, I don't know if that's a very good decision. And don't worry, I was kicked off about a month later because I guess I was too conservative. This guy was I don't know what he was, an anarchist or whatever. And
Jason was an anarchist.
Yeah, he was. And I was a little bit too conservative for him, I guess. So he told me.
So in reality, he was a real anarchist.
He thought he was, but
he was just punk rock. He was a symbol of an A with a circle around it.
Yes, he was a symbol because he was obviously getting, I don't know who was paying him to be on
what's called a crusty punk.
Yes, he was. So he told me one day that they had a meeting when I wasn't there and I was kicked off of the network.
Oh.
I know, I cried about it. And so it was kind of, but I wanted to clarify that for you. I thought that, I actually like kind of that pop music, so I thought it was hilarious when it was happening.
We just did it to be,
exactly.
We figured what's more punk rock than to come on a punk rock streaming station and play something that they wouldn't like.
Right. Yeah.
We were kind of it's kind of an asshole thing to do, but hey.
But if you invite someone a punk rock show and they do something that's more punk rock than the punk rock network, what do you expect? That's the most punk rock thing you could do. So, I don't know. The guy
That's the way we looked at it.
Yeah, so he's, and
looking back, he's kind of arrogant of what we did, but who cares? It was just a dumb streaming.
Right. Well, Tim Pop was on that show as well, and we didn't talk after that for like a long time. And then he got really sick, and luckily I reconnected with him, and everything was cool. But he passed away after that, so I felt kind of bad because I did like some of the guys, but I don't know. It was that's podcasting. It's just a bunch of guys in a room, who's
a bunch
better.
Of guys sitting in their basement.
Yeah, pretty much is what it is. So I just do mine of the same philosophy you do yours. Record it, put it out there. If people don't like it, it's not for you. Move on. What else can you really do? So. But
did you read did you look at these programs?
I did look at I looked at yours, and my brother was here just a little bit ago, and I showed him yours, and I told him the story about it that you talked about on yours may be the best description. You should read your description. It's pretty amazing.
All right. Well, there's a nice, really well done program here. It's glossy, black, like a rock and roll thing should be. It's black. I'm the first one listed.
You sure are.
They showed a lot of respect, and here's the first page is there's a note from Chris, Decibel Geek, which is very nice, and then it tells you the next page is what's a podcast, and then it says the podcast, all the lists. And all these people have these long descriptions and, you know, how great they're, like, started nearly 4 years ago. Pods and Sods, a podcast for the musically obsessed, is now a network for which is home to their original series as well as... You get the idea.
You get the idea. And then yours?
And mine says the first ever music podcast launched in 2004, fueled by Tecate, which I didn't put on there.
Okay.
I originally was going to say the last word of the... Okay, here's what it says.
Okay.
Host Michael Butler, the first ever music podcast, launched in 2004, fueled by Tecate. You should not listen.
Yeah. What else do you need to say? I mean,
mine was originally was going to say the Rock and Roll Geek Show. You should not listen.
Should have went with that. Did they make you put more?
And he goes, do you really want to go with that? I said, why? You think it's too long? More podcast humor right there.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, I'm just trying to be modest.
So you're in Nashville. I mean, have you gone fishing yet? I know you. So
I'm going fishing tomorrow. We're heading back. We're heading to tomorrow morning. We're heading on the road to Georgia. My stepdad is here. He picked me up from the airport, and we're going to Georgia for 3 days, and then going back to Jacksonville for 3 days.
Okay.
After this, in the morning, we're going to check out of the hotel. There's a mile down the street. There's a Bass Pro Shops, which is like Disneyland. For people who like to hunt and fish.
Yes.
We're going to go there, and then we're going to hit the road and head down to the cabin in the woods and go fishing for the whole time.
Sounds good.
I cannot wait, man.
Sounds good.
Can't wait.
Now you've tried the food. I heard you tried hot chicken at Hattie B's, which is, I mean, it's all right for hot chicken.
Oh, is there better hot chicken?
There's better hot chicken. That's kind of like the McDonald's.
Is it really?
I mean, I think it is. Some people think it's better, but Prince's is like the best one.
I heard that Prince was the original one, but I heard it's in the hood. It's like in a bad neighborhood.
It's deep in the hood.
I heard that was the original hot chicken.
When you call up or you go in, you generally want to call. It's like a 3-hour wait. But when you go in and you're white, they will literally ask you, if you ask for the hot chicken, like, are you sure you want to eat this?
But they don't have a problem with white guys going in
no,
there.
I've been in there a couple times. And it's hot, but it's good. So,
Well, the Hattie B's was excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah.
There's a place right next to this, the Scoreboard or something.
Yeah,
they have hot chicken on the. It says on the side of the building, hot chicken. Is it any good?
I've never tried it.
How hard can it be to make hot chicken? I would imagine you put spices in the batter, and then you fry it.
Yeah, I think some people are just trying to make it hot and not flavorful. I think here's what happened. A bunch of hipsters moved into like East Nashville, which is really close to here, and they've taken over the hood. So there was the hood for real, and then they basically took it over, jumped everybody out, and now they're all opening all these hot chicken places because it was the cool thing to do. So now there's hot chicken places everywhere.
But Prince's is still owned by the black people who started it.
Oh, yeah. I generally, if I go to a hot chicken place and there's not a black person serving, I'm out.
Well, there were black people working at Hattie B's.
Yeah, so it's, like I say, it's all right.
We went to 2 different Hattie B's. The first one had a line about 100 people deep.
Yeah.
So we left that one and went to the other one, which had a line about 15 people deep.
Generally, I go to the ones where they're kind of in the hood. Not a lot of people are there, and, so that's the good thing.
So Hattie B's is probably the hipster.
Yeah, for sure.
The trendy one.
Yes. You probably saw it. I mean, it was probably most white clientele.
Yeah, there were some black people in there.
Yeah, a few.
It's not wrong to say black people.
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't know what nowadays. I do notice that the General Lee is outside, and they have a Confederate flag on, so nobody seems to mind the Confederate flag here.
Well, actually, there's a big movement right now to remove all of the Confederate statues around.
Really, in Nashville. Huh?
On 65, that's how you get into where I came from. There's a massive statue of Nathan Bedford Forrest, and when I say massive, I mean it's 60 feet tall, and it's in somebody's backyard, so nobody can take it down. But it's definitely people aren't happy with it. So there's this big movement now, especially in Nashville. It's more hipsters that live here now, and they're acting outraged about it. Which, whatever. I mean, if they're outraged or not, who cares? Up to them. But yeah, it's definitely. It's a weird time in the city. It's an odd place. So
too much politics for the Rock and Roll Geek Show. But All right, so you want to play some music? Or?
Yeah, sure. I can play some stuff. And like I said, the thing I like about Rock and Roll
This is
Geek,
your show, by the way.
Okay.
I'm just co-hosting.
There you go. You're doing a good job so far.
Right.
What I like about your show is that you introduced me to a lot of music that I maybe are off the radar, especially getting older. So one of those was.
Let's open up the second. This is
the second one. I'm on my second one too.
Well, this is my.
This is not
fifth or sixth one of the day.
Best one of the day.
Always the best.
Yes.
Sixth one is
There
always
you go.
fifth or sixth is always the best.
Yes, for sure. So what I got right now is Bash and Pop came out with their new album.
Yes, well, it's so far my favorite album of the year.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's amazing. So especially someone like me, I like the Replacements, Cheap Trick, things like that. So I'm gonna go play ahead something off there. Anything can happen.
That's a great tune.
All
okay.
right. Well, here we go.
You got stuck in the wrong side, kicking through a rusty keyhole, just looking for a place to hide. And God's message is tongue-tied, lullabies he sings of suicide. You hear him when you're dissing this life. And I might change my mind, I might change my clothes, I might change my life. I don't know, anything could happen. 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 So life's sucking the real time, making up for times you couldn't buy. You've been really one you make up your mind. The hand out in the past tense, the flowing across the cemetery fence. Now you hear 'em crying up at the distance. I might change my mind, I might change my clothes, I might change my life. So I'm told anything could happen. 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 Baby, don't lay me down to rest in Minnesota. Honey, just lay me down in Nola. What's up, Dave? I might change my mind, I might change my clothes, I might change this night. So I'm told anything could happen. 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 Anything could
There you go. Great tune.
Oh man, it's one of my favorite. I get it in my head all the time. So I'm glad I heard about that on your show. So
In the audience, so the guy from Nelson is still on stage. It's a songwriters for, but there's two hot chicks like in the front row.
one's his wife.
I'm guessing.
Yes,
so,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure they came in together.
I can't really tell because there's a guy running the camera. First, there's a guy with a Butch Walker shirt blocking the view. But
Yep.
there's like two hot blonde chicks, or excuse me, two hot blonde women in the front row.
There's a few attractive women here. I'm actually surprised. I thought it was going to be literally all dudes, but I guess wives are here. So
Well, the Talking Metal guys, they're Mark Striegel's wife is here. She's attractive.
Yeah, she is.
And then the two women that are here, I think they don't have any plastic surgery or anything. They look really.
Well,
Oh, and she's that's his wife because she's talking. She's like mouthing words to him.
Yeah.
Like, I think she just said, "I can't wait to fuck you when you get home." No, I don't know.
maybe. I don't know if Nelson still got that pull or not, but we'll see.
He's good looking. The guy's a good looking dude.
Yeah,
you think
he
he
is.
had work done?
Yeah. Just judging from here, I would say yes, but
I can't tell who. I don't know who the other guys are on stage.
somebody from Tora or something.
From Tora Tora?
Yeah, I think that's the guy on the far left. I'm pretty sure. And then the other two guys are producers. So this guy, this older guy, white guy, who likes to talk quite a bit, he produced Stevie Nicks'
Is
Buckingham.
that Michael
album.
Wagner?
Maybe, that might be it. But he was definitely talking about a Stevie Nicks album he helped produce. So.
Let's see. Oh no, it might be Walter Egan.
Oh yes, that is it. Yes, that's it.
Gunnar Nelson, Walter Egan, Robert White Johnson, and Anthony Cord. Okay.
There you go.
I don't know any of these people that are here. All the people who are guests, the celebrity guests. The only one I know is Sandy Gennaro because he played on Joan Jett and he played with Pat Travers. But I don't really know him enough to have him come on the show. I would be bored.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be bored, but he would be bored.
Right.
I wouldn't, and I would be embarrassed because I didn't really know that much about him. I did go up and talk to him because he played drums for the band that opened the show last night.
Okay.
The pre-party show. They were a Bad Company tribute.
Ah.
It was not a tribute. They weren't like imitating Bad Company. They were just playing Bad Company
Right.
tunes. They were so fucking good, man. I was surprised. I don't give up to a Bad Company tribute band. I like Bad Company, but they were really, really good. So I went up to them and told them how much I thought they were great. The singer was amazing, and he came on. I had him on because I like the guy so much. We kind of hit it off. He's a super rock geek. Loves all the same bands.
Yeah.
So yeah. Other than that, I don't know anybody else who's
What
here.
about the Big Rock podcast at the end of the night? You're part of that,
you
aren't
mean
you?
the jam session?
The jam session. Are you still invited?
Yeah, I think so. I'm hoping to get out of it because I don't know how to play the Kiss tune. But
Yeah. What's the set list like for that? Is it all Kiss tunes or?
no, I think there's only one Kiss tune. There's
Oh.
a Cheap Trick song. I'm supposed to play Parasite, Surrender,
Okay.
and Blitzkrieg Bop.
Well, you know two of those at least.
Yeah, I know
Everybody
Blitzkrieg
knows.
Bop.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
So yeah.
I mean, I was in a band. We covered that like every night because it's easy and the crowd loves it.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say this jam session is going to be a major, major failure with nobody in the audience except for the podcasters and record vendors who are breaking down their shit.
They'll be out of here at 8 o'clock. I've already talked to
Yeah.
a few of them. They're like, we're out at 8.
So who would stay till, what time does it say it's happening?
10:45.
Who would stay until 10:45
I mean,
watch a jam session?
I mean, I would like.
That's
yeah.
like the circle jerk at the end of a circle jerk.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody has had the circle jerk. The circle jerk, as far as I'm concerned, right now has already taken place.
Yeah.
Everybody's already blown their load. Now we're in round 2 of the circle jerk.
How long can you go is the question.
By the time the
Yeah.
jam session circle jerk happens, it's going to be shooting blanks, as they say, or whatever.
So what are
or
the
not able to even get an erection.
True, that's bad. What are the odds you make it to the second circle jerk?
I mean the third circle jerk.
Third. Oh yes, third. I'm sorry. I'm losing track.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I have to stick around. I'm hoping not to.
You didn't bring your bass or anything.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I was about
So
to say.
ideally, nobody will have brought a bass, and then the circle jerk doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what did you bring? You brought what?
I brought my podcast setup here, or my mobile podcast gear,
Right.
which has been in storage for about 6 years.
Wow. And then you brought like fishing equipment.
No.
No, you didn't.
My stepdad has fishing
Ah,
gear,
okay.
so I brought my clothes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured you didn't bring a bass. That would be a kind of pain in the ass to bring down here for 3.
I ain't bringing a bass for a podcast jam session, especially if we didn't rehearse. So.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that any of these people who are, quote, fans of podcasts, and there's like 20 KISS podcasters. I don't know how many. There's probably not 20, but there's a lot of KISS podcasts.
Yeah.
And I would think, oh, look, all these KISS podcasts. I got an idea. I'll start another KISS podcast. What is that? I don't get it.
Well, the only thing I can think is maybe they saw the success, quote unquote. They saw the success of these other KISS podcasts and
KISS
thought,
podcasts are successful. I'll start a KISS.
Yeah, I'll make
so
money.
It's kind of like when record labels signed grunge bands.
Yes,
Let's start a grunge band.
Hey, Nirvana was great. Let's sign 25 other grunge bands. You see how that plays out. It never plays out well.
I would feel not good about starting a KISS podcast when you got all these KISS podcasts. How many KISS podcasts are in existence?
Oh, I mean, there's no telling. I mean, you can look at just how many podcasts are out today, and 95% of them are just total shit. I mean, they sound terrible. The content's terrible. So you can only imagine how many KISS podcasts there are. I mean, there's probably thousands.
Have you ever listened to any?
No. I mean, I like KISS, but I'm not like diehard KISS fan. I mean, they are what they are. You know, I mean, I would never center one podcast around any band. I mean, like there's a Monkees podcast over here.
Yeah.
How
hosted by Ken Mills, the same guy who hosts the Cheap Trick podcast.
Ah, okay.
And the Podkissed podcast. And he has 3. And speaking of that, he has 3 tables.
Well, there you go.
And when I got here at 11 a.m., there was no table for me.
Yeah.
I love Ken Mills. I was so pissed off when I got here. I almost threw Ken Mills' stuff off his table and said, I'm taking this table, motherfucker.
Well, you know, which would have been a shame because the Monkey podcast has a lot of people stopping by, you know, a lot. As you can see right now, the line's out the door for the Monkees podcast.
Well, it's almost as long as the Rock and Roll Geek Show podcast line.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just saw like 3 big guys. Now, you said you were fearful that someone might come kick your ass. I saw one guy that was about 6'8", and I thought maybe this was the guy.
Nobody cared even enough to show up to kiss my ass or to kick my ass. But Ken Mills made me all these buttons.
Well, that's nice of him.
Made me these Rock and Roll Geek buttons. Actually, he told everybody, hey, it's a certain amount of money for these buttons. Does everybody want it?
Ah.
If you want some buttons for your show, let me know.
Yeah.
And I'll make. And I didn't even respond. He made them for me for free, so
Well, that's
I
nice.
appreciate that. But now I'm sitting here at this table with a pile of buttons. You know, if people come by and they look at these buttons, then they keep walking.
Maybe they think you got to pay for them. I mean, I assume you have to pay for anything on any table. That's why I'm not. I mean, here's the thing with the podcast table.
Should I say, here, please take a button?
Yeah,
Or should I put a big free sign on?
Take 3, take 5, take 10.
Please, I don't want to go home with these buttons.
Yes, it's true. I don't want to lug these to the airport.
Please,
no.
I don't want to take 3-inch buttons home with me.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they were 1-inch pen buttons, I'd probably take them home. But yeah,
well,
they're good-looking buttons. They're well made.
Yeah, they look really good.
And I brought some picks because these are the picks that I actually use. Well, they are Clayton guitar picks. Or they're like these big triangle guitar picks, and I accidentally ordered the wrong size. They're too thick.
Okay.
So I figured I got a bag of guitar picks, so I'll bring those.
So you play bass with a pick?
Yeah.
Like what's the gauge you play
it's
with?
88 gauge, 0.88 millimeter.
Okay.
These are 1.
Ah, okay.
I accidentally ordered 1 millimeter.
I gotcha.
So now I have so I figured I'd bring those and give those away.
Now, geek question: do you play guitar? Do you use a pick? Generally, do you use a different pick than your bass pick?
I would
or
use the same pick.
Same pick. Okay.
But I'm not a good guitar player. I strum it to learn. When I have to learn a song, I will learn it on the guitar. I'll learn the bass parts on the guitar because the guitar is hanging on my wall.
Okay.
I don't have to pull a bass out of the case.
There you go. Well, yeah. I mean, I was never a good guitar player. I was a strummer for sure. But yeah, I just find it fascinating when people don't play with a pick. Like Stevie Nicks doesn't play with a pick. I just don't know how.
Stevie Nicks plays bass.
Guitar.
Stevie Nicks.
No. The other guy. Not Steve.
Lindsey Buckingham?
Lindsey Buckingham, yeah.
He plays with his fingers.
Yeah, he plays with his fingers.
Guy's, yeah.
Which is, I don't know, that's wild to me. But
he's a great guitar. He's a way underrated guitar player, too.
But most bass players don't play with a pick, right? I mean,
I don't know.
Did you
I
just-
play with one.
why? That's how you just started?
because Dee Dee Ramone did.
Ah, there you go. Goes back to the Ramones every time.
Even though my true hero, Pete Way played with a pick sometimes and fingers other times.
Okay, gotcha.
So
There
it
you
was
go.
easier for me to play with. This is how I learned.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
I like to play my bass like I would like it's a guitar.
Ah,
I play
okay.
a lot of chords and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's all. My brother was a bass player, and so there's always a big debate among bass players
Yeah.
that I came across.
I
But,
don't participate in that debate.
Yeah, you just create the rock and roll and go forward from there. So there you go. Hopefully you'll get inspired by this TED Talk up here of songwriting. Maybe you can write the next great American rock and roll anthem.
Maybe not. I'm just trying to get a look at Nelson's wife. She's good looking. She's super tall.
Yeah, but I think the other
That's
lady's
her
better
friend.
looking than she is.
That's her friend.
Okay.
The guy with Nelson, the other blonde guy, is probably his buddy, and that's probably his wife.
Well, good pull for him.
You think the Nelson kids are rich? They're probably rich from their dad, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You think they made a lot of money in Nelson?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in the 80s, yeah,
Hey,
everybody.
please take some of everything. I don't want to go home with anything.
Take a couple.
At least take buttons.
Yeah,
That's me. Yeah.
that's him.
Oh, you listen? Really? Hold on.
Yell at the speakers. That's my favorite part.
Hold on.
Yeah, speaking to the mic here.
Yeah. What is your name? What is your name?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on? Are you one of the vendors here?
Yeah, I'm a JTB's Groovy Record Room in
Oh, nice.
Cottontown, Tennessee.
Not Cottontown.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I like when you're reviewing something, you get real frustrated, and you like it sounds like you just hit the stop button as hard as you can, and then you start yelling at the speakers, and then you calmly push play again. I love it.
Why am I yelling at the speakers? Why am I yelling at the speakers?
I don't know.
remember.
You just seem like you always pull the show out of your ass.
Yes,
So I figured you're
exactly.
frustrated because you don't really know what's going on.
Yes.
So then
I'm an idiot,
you
is
get
what you're
frustrated
saying.
and you pause it and you start yelling a bunch of stuff about it. This sucks, blah, 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 blah. And then
Oh.
you play the rest of the song.
Oh
and then
yeah,
you
I'm
pause
telling
it.
you why I hate. So
Yeah.
you like the show because it's unprofessional.
I like to hear you
and
get
idiot.
frustrated.
Okay, there you go. Train wreck. There you go.
I can
Well,
relate.
what's your name again?
Jason.
Jason. Well, nice to meet you, Jason.
to meet you,
nice
man.
shirt. I wore that exact shirt last night, Van Halen 2 T-shirt. I'm thanking God right now that I didn't wear it today.
Right. People would think I'm you.
No, people
Then I
would
would
say,
have to
look,
yell at
those
the
two.
speakers.
People would look and say, look, those two dudes are wearing the exact same shirt. They're Bobbsey twins. But it's
I
a
got
nice
more
shirt.
shirts. I could change.
Well,
I showed
are
up
you
with a
selling
Blue Cheer
shirts?
shirt.
Are you
Yeah.
selling shirts here?
Yeah, I got a bunch of shirts.
Oh, I'm gonna have to come look at your shirts.
by.
What else you got?
Just, I don't
What
have
other
no
sh-
speakers. So
what other shirts
that way
you have?
You know. you
What
don't
other
yell
shirts
at
are
me.
you selling?
Huh?
What other shirts are you selling?
Oh, I got Black Sabbath, Kiss. I got a Van Halen shirt that's the old style logo. Like
Oh,
from
you
the
have
70s.
that. I'm getting it from you. You
I've
got
got
it
a
in a
few
size
left.
medium?
No.
Oh man, save. I'm
See,
gonna come
now,
look.
now you got to yell.
I was just because I'm reading that book right now, the Noel Monk
Greg's.
book.
Oh, the Noah one. Noah's
And
good
there's
too.
pictures of them wearing that shirt in that
Yep.
book. So I got to get one of those shirts. I'm going to come
Okay.
by and have a look.
I think I got extra large. That ought to work.
Oh, no. That's all you got is that. Yeah, you're at the podcast thing.
I like the
figured.
theme song too.
Well, thanks.
Who does that?
The Rock and Roll Butler?
Yeah.
That's a band called The Upper Crust.
I like that.
Yeah, they're a great band.
What are they saying exactly? I can't hardly understand them. I just got to know.
Well, the song is called Rock and Roll Butler.
Okay.
And my name's Michael Butler.
Okay.
And the lyrics of that particular verse is, hey, everybody, have you heard? Simply the best manservant in town. He's neat and discreet. He couldn't be any subtler. This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
Okay, the part had me
Yeah.
confused.
Yes. All right.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, I'm going to come by and look at your shirt.
Yeah, I'm right over there.
I hope you have that Van Halen shirt in something besides
a
an
couple
extra,
of
extra large.
I'll put one back.
All right. Nice to meet you. There you go. Well, impromptu.
There you go.
I hope he didn't interrupt your.
No, I love
co-host.
that's a great podcasting moment right there. It was
There you go.
amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't quite understand that in your theme song.
All right.
Oh, man, I love it.
So anything else? You want to play another tune or what?
Yeah, we can play one more tune.
All right, you play another tune and get out of here? Or you want to do this thing for longer? It's your show, man.
We can play a tune and get out of here. I got to go look at those shirts, man.
Yeah, I want to as well.
Actually, yeah.
That Van Halen shirt that he's talking about, have you seen that book?
No, I have not.
I have the book here. I'll show you after
Okay.
this is over. But it's the coolest Van Halen shirt. They have this old logo that doesn't look like that. It was like a fancy logo that they abandoned immediately. That it's really cool looking.
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah, we'll go check it out.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's. So one of the interviews you did that was fantastic was SAR.
Sorry, it's Jeff
SAR,
Whalen.
And I'd never heard of this band before. This is one of my favorite albums, like of all time.
One of the best albums ever made. It's up there. I had him when I had him on the show. I told him that it's up there with Boston as far as how great the album is done.
Oh, it's amazing.
As far as like production and how slick it is and how catchy the songs are, and
It's so
it's like
good.
almost a perfect album.
Yeah, no,
close to perfect.
It pretty much is a perfect album.
Whether
so.
you like Boston or not, that album is a well-made
Yeah,
album.
of course, yeah.
And that's how the Czar album
Yeah.
is. This band should have been huge.
They
well,
weren't though.
maybe not should have been huge, but those songs are.
They should have been
hit songs.
Yeah, they should have been. No, I've never heard of them. So, well, I want to say thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming out. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's
You
close
live
out.
in Nashville?
I do. I live in Nashville. So
I probably already asked you that. But
no, you didn't. I don't think so. If you did, who cares? Remember, this show's not for you anyway, so who
There
cares?
you go.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming on.
All
Dave
right.
Bruce.
Let's
I
end
really
on this
appreciate
song
it.
then.
How can we find your podcast?
Oh, go to bybpod.com, bybpod.com. Blame Your Brothers.
Blame Your Brothers. So it's BYBpod.
Yeah, .com.
BlameYourBrothers.com was taken.
It was by some Canadian design company. And I don't even know if they're around anymore, so it's unfortunate.
BYBpod.com.
Yeah,
All
or
right.
just who cares? Google us, who
There
cares,
you
whatever.
go. There you go.
All right, here
All
we
right.
go.
Thanks for listening, friends. I will talk to you very soon.
Hello, everybody.
Slow dive on Chemical Hill. Slow down, you're making me real. Silver and 79. Shifter and planets align.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.